Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs tremble just a little more than they used to? Maybe it was a short walk around the block that left your calves aching, or perhaps you've started to avoid stairs, not because you can't do them, but because your legs just don't feel as steady as they once did. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we age, one of the most noticeable changes in our bodies is the gradual weakening of our legs. But what many people don't realize is this leg strength isn't just about moving from point A to point B, it's about freedom. It's the difference between feeling confident on your feet or feeling hesitant with every step. Your legs are your foundation. They help you stand tall, move forward, and stay independent. When they begin to lose strength, it's not just mobility that suffers, it's your confidence, your sense of control, and even your mood. The good news: you don't need fancy equipment, intense workouts, or expensive treatments to support your legs. What you do need are the right nutrients, ones that fuel your muscles, support your bones, protect your joints, and keep your circulation flowing strong. That's why in this video we're going to explore 6 essential vitamins that help keep your legs strong, steady, and energized, even well into your 80s and 90s. These aren't just nice-to-haves. These are nutritional powerhouses that work behind the scenes every day to support balance, prevent falls, and help your legs carry you through life with strength. You'll learn which vitamins most older adults unknowingly lack. You'll learn how those deficiencies quietly lead to fatigue, cramps, stiffness, or weakness. And most importantly, you'll discover simple, natural ways to get more of each one often, with nothing more than a single tablespoon a day. By the time we're done, you'll have a better understanding of what your legs are really asking for and how to give them the care they deserve. So if you've ever worried about losing your footing, literally or figuratively, stick with me, because the first vitamin on our list might just be the one that lays the foundation for everything else. And trust me, it's more powerful than you think. Let's start with the vitamin that keeps your bones solid, your muscles active, and your balance strong, even when you're standing up from a deep sofa. Let's talk about the power of vitamin D. If there's one vitamin that silently supports almost everything your legs do, it's vitamin D. This single nutrient plays a critical role in helping your body absorb calcium, the mineral that builds and maintains strong bones. But more than that, vitamin D also supports muscle function, nerve health, and balance, all essential if you want to walk confidently and avoid falls. Now here's the tricky part. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight, even if we're outside every day. That means many older adults are deficient and don't even realize it. In fact, studies show that up to 50% of seniors in the US have low vitamin D levels. And what does that look like in real life? Muscles feel weaker, especially around the hips and thighs. Getting up from a chair feels more like a chore than a reflex. You may feel unstable on your feet even if your eyesight is fine. Some people even experience nighttime leg cramps or an aching, heavy feeling in their lower legs despite no obvious injury. The problem isn't always age. Sometimes it's simply a matter of not getting enough of the nutrients your body needs to keep those muscles and bones working together smoothly. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. Ruth, a 78-year-old retired teacher from Oregon, had started skipping her morning walks. "I just don't feel steady anymore," she told her daughter. At first, she blamed it on the weather or her old shoes, but the real problem turned out to be a vitamin D deficiency. Her doctor recommended she try adding just one simple habit to her routine: a tablespoon of cod liver oil each morning, a natural source of vitamin D and healthy omega-3s. Within 2 weeks, Ruth began noticing a difference. Her legs didn't ache as much at the end of the day. She felt more sure-footed when stepping off curbs or climbing stairs. And those frustrating nighttime leg cramps that had been waking her up, they became far less frequent. "I thought I was just getting old," she told me, "but I was actually missing something my body needed." It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference. So how can you get more vitamin D into your life? Sunlight: aim for 15-20 minutes of sun exposure a few times a week. Foods: add more fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, fortified milk and egg yolks. Supplements or whole foods. As Ruth discovered, 1 tablespoon of cod liver oil daily provides a rich, natural dose of vitamin D, often more effective than synthetic pills. And here's a tip if you live in a cloudy region or tend to stay indoors. A dietary source like cod liver oil becomes even more important. It's affordable, easy to use, and a single bottle lasts for weeks. Many older adults who begin adding vitamin D to their daily habits report more stable posture, fewer muscle cramps, improved energy, and a subtle but powerful return of physical confidence. Because when your muscles and bones are supported at the deepest level, everything feels easier. Standing, walking, reaching, and simply enjoying your day. So if your legs have been telling you, "I feel tired," it might be time to listen and respond with a little sunshine and a spoon. With your bones now fortified and your muscles reawakened, it's time to make sure your nervous system is fully connected so your legs can react quickly, feel responsive, and move with certainty. Let's talk about the quiet power of vitamin B12. Sometimes the issue isn't that your muscles are weak, it's that the signals from your brain aren't getting through. You want to move, but your legs hesitate? You try to stand, but there's a subtle lag, a delay, a wobble. It's not pain exactly, it's more like a disconnection. That's where vitamin B12 steps in. Vitamin B12 is essential for keeping your nervous system sharp, especially the nerves that control your legs. It helps create healthy red blood cells, which carry oxygen to your muscles, and it supports the protective coating around your nerves called the myelin sheath. Without enough of it, your legs can begin to feel numb, weak, shaky, or even tingly, like they're not quite yours. And here's the surprising part. B12 deficiency is extremely common in older adults. Even if you eat a healthy diet with plenty of protein, your body's ability to absorb B12 declines with age. This means many people are unknowingly living with low B12 for years, slowly losing strength, balance, and coordination without ever realizing why. If you've ever had those frustrating days where your legs feel strong one moment and wobbly the next, where one stair feels fine, but the next makes you grab the railing, this might be your body quietly whispering, "I need more B12." Let me tell you about George, a 74-year-old veteran from Ohio. He used to walk every morning without fail, but recently he started feeling off balance halfway through his route. Not dizzy, just like his legs weren't listening. He described it like walking through sand. His doctor ran some tests and discovered his B12 levels were well below normal. George made one simple change. He started sprinkling nutritional yeast, a natural, tasty source of B12, onto his eggs and salads. Just 1 tablespoon a day. Within 2 weeks, he noticed the difference. His steps felt more sure, his legs more responsive, and that strange foggy feeling in his knees and feet gone. He didn't change his whole life. He didn't take a bunch of pills. He just gave his nervous system what it had been missing. So what does B12 deficiency look like in real life? Legs that feel tired even when you haven't done much. A strange pins and needles sensation when sitting or lying down. Trouble balancing in the dark or on uneven ground. Feeling like your legs are asleep even when you're wide awake to support healthy leg function and nerve signaling. You want to make sure you're getting enough B12 consistently. It's found naturally in animal products like beef, poultry, eggs, and dairy. But again, absorption is often the problem, not intake. That's why nutritional yeast can be such a smart, low-effort addition. It's rich in bioavailable B12, easy to mix into meals, and has a cheesy, nutty flavor that many people actually enjoy. And if you're vegetarian or cutting back on meat, it's one of the best non-animal options out there. People who increase their B12 intake often say they feel more energized, more coordinated, and even mentally sharper. And when your brain and your body are in sync, your legs become a lot more trustworthy. You don't need perfect balance, you just need consistent connection. And sometimes that starts with something as small as a sprinkle of nutritional yeast at breakfast. Now that your legs are firing on all cylinders with your muscles strong and your nerves fully online, it's time to protect your joints. Let's talk about the one vitamin that rebuilds the cushion between your bones and keeps every step feeling smooth. Vitamin C. You may think of vitamin C as the go-to remedy when you're feeling under the weather. And yes, it does wonders for the immune system. But for your legs, it plays an entirely different and equally important role. Vitamin C is one of the cornerstones of joint health, and it works by helping your body produce collagen, the protein that builds and maintains your cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. Think of collagen like the cushion between your bones, the shock absorber in your knees, the flexible glue that holds your joints together. Without enough collagen, those structures get stiff, sore, and brittle. And that's when movement becomes uncomfortable. Now here's the catch, your body can't make vitamin C on its own. And as you age, your ability to absorb and utilize it efficiently also declines. That means the aches and tightness you feel after a short walk, the creaking in your knees as you bend, or the stiffness that greets you in the morning might not be just aging. It could be a sign your joints are starving for vitamin C. Let me introduce you to Linda, a 70-year-old retired nurse from Arizona. For years, she chalked up her morning stiffness to old bones. Every day, it took her nearly 30 minutes just to loosen up enough to walk around the house. One afternoon, during a phone chat with her sister, she learned about the connection between vitamin C and collagen and how that might be affecting her joints. Curious but cautious, she started adding a tablespoon of acerola cherry powder to her morning smoothie. Within 2 weeks, Linda noticed she was moving more freely. "I used to lean on the bathroom counter just to tie my shoes," she said. "Now I bend right down and stand up without wincing." Her morning routine no longer started with groaning joints. It started with momentum. Linda's story isn't uncommon as collagen levels drop. Especially after age 60, we need to give our bodies the raw materials to rebuild and repair. Vitamin C is that material. So what else does it do? It reduces inflammation around the joints, which can cause swelling and stiffness. It supports faster muscle recovery after light exercise or movement, and it helps protect your joints from long-term wear and tear so you can keep walking, gardening, or dancing without discomfort. You can find vitamin C in many fruits and vegetables, oranges, strawberries, bell peppers, kiwi. But if your diet isn't consistent or your digestion isn't what it used to be, a concentrated natural source like acerola cherry powder makes it easy. Just 1 tablespoon contains more vitamin C than 7 oranges without the sugar spike. And because vitamin C is water-soluble, your body uses what it needs and gently flushes out the rest. That means it's very safe to take daily, especially when consumed in whole food form. Many older adults report that after just a few weeks of boosting their vitamin C, their knees feel more fluid, their hips less tight, and their joints less achy after activity. Some even sleep better simply because they're no longer tossing and turning from joint pain. The bottom line, when your joints are well fed with vitamin C, they move more like hinges and less like rusty gates. It's not about reversing time. It's about supporting the body you live in now and giving it what it needs to keep doing the things you love on your terms. Now that your joints are moving with more ease, let's talk about a lesser-known vitamin that helps direct calcium exactly where it belongs, into your bones, not your joints. Up next, the powerful, often overlooked role of vitamin K2. If you've been taking calcium supplements for years, hoping to keep your bones strong and your legs steady, you're not alone. And you're not wrong to do so. Calcium is essential. But here's what most people don't realize. Calcium needs direction. Without proper guidance, calcium doesn't always go where it's supposed to. Instead of building strong bones, it can settle in your arteries, joints, or soft tissues, making things worse, not better. This misplacement can lead to stiff knees, aching joints, and even poor circulation in the legs. That's where vitamin K2 comes in, often overlooked but incredibly important. K2's job is to escort calcium to your bones and teeth and keep it out of places it doesn't belong. Think of it as the traffic cop of your bloodstream, making sure calcium doesn't end up jamming the wrong roads. As we age, not only do we tend to absorb less calcium naturally, but we also lose efficiency in directing it properly. That's why K2 becomes more critical after 60. It works in harmony with vitamin D. While D helps absorb calcium into the body, K2 ensures it gets deposited where it strengthens, not where it stiffens. Take the story of Doris, a 76-year-old grandmother from Minnesota. Doris had been diligent about her calcium supplements for over a decade. She never missed a dose. But instead of feeling stronger, her knees were constantly aching, and she found it harder to straighten her back after sitting. When she mentioned this to her doctor, she was introduced to vitamin K2, something she'd never even heard of before. Her daughter helped her add a simple daily habit: a tablespoon of grass-fed ghee, a clarified butter rich in K2, to her breakfast toast. That was it. Within a few weeks, Doris noticed a subtle but meaningful change. Her knees didn't feel as tight when she stood. She stopped groaning every time she bent over, and she even felt a little taller. Not because she grew, but because she wasn't hunched over anymore. "I thought I was just stiff because of age," she said, "but it turns out my bones weren't getting what they needed." or at least they weren't getting it in the right place. K2 is found naturally in fermented foods like natto, a Japanese soybean dish, certain cheeses and liver. But let's be honest, not many people over 60 are eating natto regularly. That's why simpler sources like grass-fed butter or ghee can be a more realistic and tasty option. Just 1 tablespoon a day can make a noticeable difference. Here's what K2 can help you with. Reduces stiffness in joints, especially knees and hips. Improves bone density, making your legs feel sturdier. Supports posture so you don't feel like you're shrinking or stooping. Protects against arterial calcification, improving blood flow to your lower limbs. When combined with calcium and vitamin D, K2 becomes part of a synergistic trio that keeps your skeletal system aligned and working smoothly like well-oiled gears. Without it, all that calcium you're taking might just be slowing you down instead of building you up. And remember, feeling lighter on your feet isn't just about muscle, it's about how strong and flexible your bones and joints are underneath. Giving your body the right tools doesn't take much, but it changes everything. Now that we've made sure your bones are properly supported, let's turn to a mineral that helps your muscles stay loose. Your legs feel light and those midnight cramps finally go away. Up next, magnesium, your body's natural muscle relaxer. Sometimes it's not the bones or the joints that hold you back. It's the tightness you feel deep in your muscles, the heavy legs, the stubborn cramps that wake you up in the middle of the night, the strange fatigue that sets in after climbing just a few stairs. If any of that feels familiar, your body may be trying to tell you something simple but important. You need more magnesium. Magnesium is one of the most underappreciated minerals when it comes to leg health. It plays a crucial role in muscle relaxation, nerve signaling, circulation, and energy production. Without enough of it, your legs can feel tight, sore, restless, or weak, even when you haven't done much at all. Here's the thing, as we age, our magnesium levels naturally decline, especially if we're not eating as many whole grains, leafy greens, or seeds as we used to. And it doesn't help that stress, certain medications, and digestive issues can all deplete magnesium even faster. When your magnesium is low, you may experience leg cramps, especially at night, a heaviness or dragging feeling in your calves, twitching or spasms, particularly after walking, a sense of general muscle fatigue even after light activity. That's exactly what Eugene, an 81-year-old retired mechanic from Colorado, was dealing with. For months, he found himself waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. with sudden painful cramps in his lower legs. He tried stretching, drinking more water, even taking short evening walks, but nothing worked. Then during a checkup, his doctor mentioned magnesium and suggested he try adding a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds to his afternoon snack. Eugene shrugged and gave it a shot. Within a week, the cramps had lessened. Within 2 weeks, they were nearly gone. I still wake up early. Sometimes, he told me, but now it's just to feed the cat, not to fight my own legs. That's the quiet power of magnesium. When your body has enough of it, your muscles move more smoothly, your nerves fire more reliably, and your circulation improves, especially in your legs, where blood can sometimes slow down with age. Magnesium also helps regulate electrolyte balance, making it easier for your muscles to contract and relax in harmony. And when your muscles don't have to work so hard just to stay calm, you naturally feel more energized and less sore. So where can you get more magnesium naturally and easily? Leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard, whole grains such as brown rice and oats, nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds, which pack a powerful magnesium punch. A simple habit like 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds a day can make a surprising difference. You can sprinkle them over yogurt, add them to oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or just eat them plain as a snack. Many older adults who add magnesium-rich foods to their diet report fewer muscle cramps and spasms, a lighter, more flexible feeling in their legs, less stiffness after sitting, better sleep, not just longer, but deeper and more restful. Because when your legs feel at ease, your whole body relaxes, you breathe easier, you move more confidently, and you no longer fear those strange, uncomfortable spasms in the middle of the night. And just like with the other nutrients we've discussed, magnesium doesn't need to come from a pill. In fact, real food often works better, especially when it's something as simple as a handful of seeds that fit right into your daily routine. Now that your muscles are relaxed and your legs feel lighter, let's make sure blood is flowing strong and steady to every corner, keeping your energy up and your steps confident. Up next, vitamin E, your circulation's best friend. You've strengthened your muscles, supported your joints, relaxed your legs. Now there's one final piece of the puzzle we can't ignore: circulation. Because even the strongest muscles and healthiest bones can't do their job if they aren't getting enough oxygen-rich blood. When circulation slows, your legs start sending signals, and they're not subtle. You might feel a dull ache or heaviness after standing too long, a cold sensation in your feet or lower legs, even when the room is warm, mild swelling at the end of the day, or a feeling that your legs tire faster than they should. That's where vitamin E comes in, your circulation's quiet champion. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that helps keep your blood vessels flexible and open, allowing blood to flow freely to your muscles, nerves, and skin. It also protects your red blood cells and reduces inflammation, preventing stiffness and promoting smoother movement. It doesn't get as much attention as other vitamins, but for your legs, it's a game changer. Let me tell you about Margaret, 79, who lives in upstate New York. She'd always been active gardening, walking to the post office, helping her neighbor with errands. But in the last year, she noticed something unsettling. After just a short stroll, her calves would tighten and her feet would feel cold even in the middle of summer. "I thought it was just old age," she admitted. "I started skipping walks, and that made it worse." One day, while flipping through a health magazine, she read a short piece about vitamin E and circulation. She decided to try something small, adding a tablespoon of wheat germ oil to her morning oatmeal. The change wasn't dramatic overnight, but by the second week, she noticed she didn't need her thick socks in the evening anymore. Her steps felt easier, and her legs didn't swell after a full day of light activity. "It felt like the blood in my legs was finally awake again." She said that's exactly what vitamin E helps do. Wake up your circulation. It works by preventing oxidative stress and helping maintain the elasticity of your blood vessels. This means better flow, more oxygen delivery, and less strain on your heart and lower limbs. Good natural sources include sunflower seeds, almonds, avocados, and especially wheat germ oil. Just 1 tablespoon a day provides a rich and absorbable source of vitamin E. And it's not just about circulation. Many people who increase their vitamin E intake report less leg swelling by evening, improved warmth in their feet, smoother skin tone thanks to better blood supply, and a subtle sense of renewed vitality when walking. It's worth noting, poor circulation can quietly chip away at your mobility, independence, and even your confidence. But it's also one of the most reversible issues, especially when you support it from the inside out. Adding vitamin E doesn't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. It could be as simple as switching the oil you use for cooking or adding a spoonful to your breakfast. One small change that leads to legs that feel lighter, livelier, and more responsive. Because at the end of the day, good circulation doesn't just help your legs, it helps your entire sense of movement, energy, and balance. And when blood flows better, so does life. Now that you've discovered all 6 essential vitamins, let's pull everything together and talk about how to build a simple, sustainable daily habit that keeps your legs strong and your steps steady, no matter your age. Up next, final thoughts.